One more outburst from you, Mr. Erickson, and I will hold you in contempt of court." The judge's face turned red, and I had to stifle a laugh at her almost comical expression. "Mr. Young, I strongly advise you to control your client." I had been warned several times, but it's hard not to say crap when it's part of your vocabulary, especially dealing with a judge like this. A guy once told me he'd never met anyone who said it more than I do. Maybe I do say it a lot, but it just flows without thought. As I started to speak, I saw the judge tense up, and my attorney, Bert Young, warned me not to speak so openly unless I wanted a night in jail. The court recorder stifled a giggle, likely bracing for a torrent of F-bombs. Across the courtroom, my ex-best friend, his wife, and my soon-to-be ex-wife looked nervous. Robin, my soon-to-be ex, looked shamed and downtrodden. Bruce sat there with defeat on his face, and Cheryl, his wife, looked pissed off. She clearly didn't like their dirty laundry aired in court. By now, you might wonder how I ended up being scolded by this simpleton in the black robe. It all started one day. Let's call it Tuesday, because it was a Tuesday. My name is Jack Erickson. I'm a 32-year-old foreman in the city maintenance department of Stonemore, Colorado. I started with the city 2 days after graduating high school. In winter, I plow the major roads. In summer, I do whatever needs to be done. Robin works a few hours a week at the church to break from housework. Our maintenance department is split into 4 quadrants, each with a supervisor and a foreman. I'm not the supervisor because I never went to college and I use common sense. Plus, I avoid office politics. Usually, if a supervisor tells a crew to do something, they'll check with someone like me first. All foremen were promoted from within, while supervisors were directly hired. Monday evening brought a nasty June thunderstorm with high wind and hail. My quadrant got hit hardest, so we had a lot of debris to clear from the streets. I had 6 crews with dump trucks picking up debris, and drove around in a pickup checking storm drain complaints. If they were blocked, I'd call one of the 2 vacuum trucks at my disposal. I also had 4 street sweepers running all day. In the afternoon, I checked problem alleys to see if we'd need gravel soon. None of my 3 parks got mowed, so I'd have to get crews on that in the morning. Robin and I had a nice 4-bedroom, 2-story home in an older neighborhood. We couldn't afford the rich side of town, but we didn't live in the gangland either. We got along well with our neighbors. Tom and Jerry McBain lived next door. Ron and Cindy lived directly behind us, and my childhood friend, Bruce Harris, lived behind the McBains with his wife, Cheryl. All 4 households got along so well that we had no fences separating our backyards. Bruce and I have been friends since middle school. I got him into more trouble than he could handle. And to make matters worse, his parents were extra religious, while mine didn't care much about God. Dad often told me as long as I didn't knock some girl up or cost him money, he didn't care what I did. If Bruce's parents were going to nail him for something, I'd take the blame. I know they hated me, so their opinion didn't matter. Bruce grew up as religious as his parents. He went to Bible college and became a preacher at a local church. I only go to church on Easter and Christmas. Robin, on the other hand, goes to church religiously. While Bruce was at Bible college, he met Cheryl. Cheryl could have been a Playboy playmate. She's 5'7", 110 pounds, with blonde hair, blue eyes, and a 36-24-34 figure. Despite her looks, she's a prayer machine. Bruce is like the yin to my yang, but there wasn't anything I wouldn't do for him. Or so I thought. When I got home Tuesday evening, I had to heat up leftover meatloaf from Sunday for dinner. I didn't mind, but my wife hadn't cooked a weekday meal in months. I wanted to drink a 12-pack, but the red mark on the calendar meant I could only have 1 beer since I was on emergency standby. I ate while Robin showered, wishing she'd pay as much attention to me as she did to the shower. It was 7 p.m., and I doubted I'd see her again that night. She gave me a half-hearted, "How was your day?" when I got home. This routine had been going on for months, and I was tired of it. Our bed life was the worst part. We used to have lovemaking 3 or 4 times a week. In the past 3 months, I'd had lovemaking twice and 2 weak handjobs. She barely noticed me anymore, and that night was no different. So I watched the Rockies play the Padres on TV and wished for Jägermeister around 10 o'clock. Just as I was about to go to bed, my phone rang. It was City County Dispatch about a water main break near Birchwood Mall. I packed some snacks and headed out. At the city yard, I got the keys and waited for my crew, including guys from every quadrant, a city water department supervisor, and 4 of their guys. I hooked up a trailer to the dump truck, loaded a backhoe, and we headed to the break site. The street was flooded since the Northwest crews hadn't cleared the storm sewers, so I sent for a vacuum truck. At 1 a.m., I started breaking pavement with the backhoe. It was slow going due to the water. By 3 o'clock, we exposed the pipe and started hauling away mud. By 8:45 a.m., the water guys had reconnected the pipe and tested it. The building inspector approved the fix around 9:30, and by noon, we were ready to repave. Since a contractor would handle paving, I returned the equipment to the yard by 1 o'clock. At 1:45, I pulled into my driveway, knowing I was off work until Friday. Inside, Robin was nowhere to be found. She was off doing whatever she did all day, which didn't seem to include housework. I grabbed a beer and a sandwich. As I closed the fridge, I heard the unmistakable sound of a woman having lovemaking coming from upstairs. "No wonder you don't screw me anymore," I muttered as I grabbed my Kimber .45 from the coat closet and headed upstairs. The noise got louder. I approached the master bedroom, but it was empty. I checked the bathroom, also empty. I had two choices left, the guest bedroom or Robin's craft room. The guest bedroom was empty too. I kicked open the craft room door, weapon ready, but it was empty as well. The sound was loudest there, and I noticed the window overlooking the backyard was open. I looked out and saw something shocking. Tommy and Brenda, the McBain children, were having lovemaking by their pool. Tommy was a college junior, and Brenda was about to start her freshman year. She'd had a crush on me. It hit me. I was witnessing inbreeding. "I thought this only happened in places like Mississippi," I muttered. I knew I shouldn't watch, but it was like a train wreck. I wondered if Tom or Jerry knew this was happening in their home. I doubted it. Even the wildest people I knew wouldn't condone it. "They're watching us. Look at them," Bryn said to Tommy. "Oh, hell, that's so hot," said Brenda. She looked to her left, and I saw Bruce's bare back in his house's upstairs window. He was clearly drilling someone. I thought I'd hang around, hoping to see Cheryl unclothed. Then Bruce turned around. "Holy crap!" I yelled so loudly that the lovemaking stopped below. Bruce was pounding my Robin. I froze, unsure what to do. I aimed at Bruce, but was distracted by Tommy and Brenda running unclothed for their house. I looked back up, intending to shoot Bruce, but they were gone. "Goddamn filthy woman!" I yelled, grabbing my Mossberg and loading it with buckshot. "Bruce and the promiscuous are going to die. Cheryl's cat and parakeet are fair game too." I headed out, pistol tucked in my jeans. Halfway down the driveway, I stopped. I now understood everything. My house wasn't clean, meals were from the freezer, and my little Johnny was neglected because Bruce was wearing her out. She took so many showers that the reservoir should be named after me. I got into my truck and left tire marks on the street as I headed for Lowe's. On the way, I processed everything. She never cooked because Bruce was exhausting her. She couldn't clean while getting her freak on. The biggest question was why the two people I trusted most would betray me like that. At Lowe's, I went straight to the door section and picked up 3 new lock sets. Jeannie at the paint counter waved, and I barely noticed, half-heartedly waving back. When I got home, Brenda and Tommy were waiting in my driveway. "What do these perverts want?" I wondered. They looked like they were going to the gallows. Brenda offered a sheepish smile. "We're sorry to have disturbed you, Mr. Erickson. We didn't mean to offend you. It's just—" I cut her off. "I don't care if you screw each other until your holes turn to tunnels. It's none of my business. You guys aren't even on my radar of problems right now." They walked away sheepishly. I felt Brenda's eyes on my hips as I went inside. I set the lock sets down and went to find my tools. In the kitchen, my blood boiled. Bruce was sitting at my table. "What are you doing in my house, you cursed sucker?" I demanded. "I came to talk to you as a friend," Bruce replied. "Friend?" I laughed bitterly. "With friends like you, who needs enemies? Do you think I'm just going to say, 'Hey, Bruce, how were my wife's holes this morning?'" "Jack, it doesn't have to be this way," he said. "You're right. Hand me that butcher knife," I instructed, sliding a knife across the table. He looked at it and then at the Kimber in my hand. "Come on, Jack," he said shakily. "You can't seriously expect—" "Pick it up, a-hole. You love Jesus so much, I want you to meet him. Now pick up the knife and let me put the Make My Day law to use, you trespassing piece of pious crap," I ordered. Bruce jumped up and ran for the door. He stopped on the porch and turned back. "Jack, we've been friends forever. Are you willing to throw that away?" "I lost 2 people today, Bruce. But I think when I get past all of it, I'll realize it's no real loss." "Where's Robin?" I asked. "She's at my house. She's afraid to come over here," he admitted. "Tell her she has 5 minutes to get over here if she wants any chance of staying married to me." "Now get off my property before I risk prison just to feel better," I warned. Bruce scurried off, and I wondered how long it would take Robin to drag her cheating bum home. 4 minutes later, I heard her sniveling and sobbing long before I saw her. People must have wondered what was going on when they saw her walking up the sidewalk, crying. She reached to hug me, and I stepped back. "Keep your filthy hands to yourself," I commanded. "But I love you, baby. I only want to be with you," she pleaded. "Let's go inside. These neighbors don't need to hear our business," I said, moving into the living room and sitting in my favorite chair. She sat on the love seat. "Would you sit next to me?" she asked. "Hell no, I don't want to be near you," I refused. I hated awkward silences, so I jumped in. "How long have you been screwing that idiot?" "He loves you like a brother. He's your best friend," she responded. Jack Asterisk was Asterisk my friend, I corrected. "Friends don't screw their friends' wives," I added. "It's just lovemaking. I still love you," she insisted. "What a load of crap. It's just lovemaking." "Whoever thought of that excuse deserves a cinder block to the head," I yelled. "No need to be angry. You still have me. I'm not going anywhere," she said. "Yes, you are. You're choosing Bruce over me and our marriage. You can't give me 5 minutes, but you can bend over for him any time." "How wonderful," I retorted. I felt a headache coming on and put my head in my hands. She started to get up and walk toward me. "Sit back down. I hope it's worth throwing away a decade of marriage," I said. "I'm not ending our marriage. We can stay married. I'll just have lovemaking with Bruce. I don't love him, just his meat. He says I can take care of your needs once or twice a week," she explained. "How kind of him. I think I'll find someone else to take care of my needs," I remarked. "No, you're my husband. No one else should have lovemaking with you. We are still man and wife," she argued. "Not for much longer. Ex-wife is more fitting for someone like you and that hypocritical curs, Bruce Harris," I declared. "Please don't talk like that. I love you with all my heart, but I love Bruce's big meat too. You just need to understand Bruce's plan. We all can be happy," she tried to reason. "I understand perfectly. You want to have your cake and eat it too," I concluded. "It's not like that at all," she protested. "Then explain it to me," I challenged. "I can't. You'd never." "Well, I think Bruce wants me back in 3 minutes," she stammered. "What the hell are you babbling about?" I asked, seeing the shock on her face. "You've never called me names or talked this way to me. What's gotten into you?" she inquired. "Let's see. I haven't slept since 6 a.m. yesterday, and I worked all night. Or maybe it's because I got home to find my wife drilling someone else, you idiot," I snapped. She started crying and headed for the door. "That's it, go to Bruce. Go get the meat you crave," I shouted. She turned at the door. "I don't see why we can't keep things as they are. You're not home all the time. I can be his while you're at work." I slammed the door so hard, I thought it splintered. "Screw you! Go eat your cake!" I yelled so loud my throat hurt. I sat with my back to the door, feeling unmanly. Dad would have whipped my bum if he'd seen me with tears. So I sucked it up and got on with my tasks. I changed the locks on all the doors and recoded the garage opener. At 4, I decided to take a break. I was exhausted and needed to sit. I flipped on the TV to Jerry Springer. How fitting, a show about cheating wives and messed up families. I didn't make it far with Jerry before falling asleep. When I woke up, it was past 9, and someone was knocking at my door. I got up and answered. It was Bruce. "What do you want? I ought to strike the crap out of you," I said. "I need a favor," Bruce responded. "If you don't take the cake, I don't have a girlfriend for you to screw. Try elsewhere," I retorted. "Robin needs you. She's crying her eyes out. Can't you call her and tell her you're not angry and everything will be okay?" he pleaded. "Tell her everything will be okay. I'm done with both of you." "What's Cheryl gonna say when she finds out you're screwing Robin?" I asked. "She knows. She's happy the sneaking around can stop. She wants you two to stay together," he admitted. "Get off my porch. Tell her stuff will be on the porch in the morning. Any door knocking will be met unkindly," I warned. I slammed the door and went for a cold beer. For some reason, I took my 6-pack upstairs and sat in Robin's craft room watching out the window. It dawned on me I should record evidence for divorce, so I grabbed the camcorder. Watching Bruce's house, I noticed movement next door. Jerry McBain was at the pool in a robe. I hoped she had a one-piece bathing suit underneath. Jerry might be the nicest person, but she fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch. Unlike her daughter, her body wasn't a distraction from her face. Tom isn't much better. It baffles me that Tommy and Brenda aren't uglier. Unfortunately, Jerry took off her robe and dove into the pool. I turned back to Bruce's house. With the camera on